long day so far, but there is still more to come, and we are absolutely excited for this last one. It's going to be Vancouver Titans versus New York Excelsior. And, you know, again, with what we saw recently from this weekend from New York, I'm actually really excited to see how they're going to be able to fend off against the Titans.
Yeah, both of these teams 3 and 4, as we can actually see some really cool fan art that's been made by Gavin of the Vancouver Titans.
It's so good.
Such a good.
It's just got that style to it.
Imagine being that talented. Like I couldn't do it.
It would just be literally stick figures in blue and green lines.
In MS Paint. Yep, that would be what I would do. But this is, I mean, this Vancouver Titans team, as we can look into the roster of them, I think that Aspire and Sugar Free have kind of been really important pieces and an important foundation for this team, but the rest of the team, I think in their own right, maybe not as flashy as like some of the other pieces that we've seen specifically with Sugar Free and Aspire, but I think Crimso's been playing very well, Faith has been playing well. Punk is someone who I think, again, through all the trials and tribulations Punk has had in his career, being able to still perform at a high level consistently, I think deserves a lot of praise as well.
Absolutely. And then, of course, with, you know, New York, we've seen them be able to elevate themselves. They did take that victory over Washington, which was now today we saw them be able to, you know, clap back a little bit. But I still think that there is a lot of opportunity for us to be able to see New York really have a competitive matchup against this. And, you know, we've talked a little bit ourselves in the back about Faith and what they've brought in from a support line, since we talked about supports as well already. But just a lot of this team as a whole and what they're going to bring into this last match for this 5th week.
And what I'll be interested to see is like kind of where the DPS go to, because I think we've been seeing a lot of movement. Like Sombra's still very important, but like we've been seeing a lot of like Hanzo being played a lot more recently. And I think that's something like hit scan wise too, like as you're seeing in the replay, Shockwave is able to bring out the Ashe, but I think that also there is going to be that question of like, is there going to be Hanzo played? Because I think Aspire, Shockwave, those are going to be matchups that I think are going to be incredibly important, especially with how much we've seen Hanzo rise to prominence a little bit in here, as well as what are we going to be seeing from that tank line? Because I think that these are two teams that if they could probably help it, don't want to opt into the Winston, right? They probably want to play more of that Ramatra style, get into a little bit more of a brawl. I don't think that Winston is something that both these teams would really want to handshake on. If they do, I think it'll be a little bit more of a shaky matchup and it could go either way. But I think that brawl is what we'll most likely see, and maybe some more of that pokey style that we're seeing from New York Excel.
Absolutely, and I still really love the bob play that came out from Shockwave on Kings Row during that time.
Off the top rope.
It was so clean. That with that knock-up just makes you feel so good as a player. But we can take a look at our predictions as well before going into this, and then also get.
I wasn't sure about this one.
I wasn't either. I mean, I still went.
I don't even remember what I picked, actually.
I'm pretty sure I went with Vancouver. I did go with Vancouver.
Okay, you went with Vancouver. I think I went with Vancouver too, but I might have gone 3-2. Maybe 3. Yeah, okay, 3-2.
See, I did 3-1. I was on the fence. I mean, you and I both, I think, trying to figure out exactly what the best outcome for this would be. But you know, I'm sticking with my 3-1. Yeah, I'll take it.
I wouldn't be shocked though if this is a New York win, especially because I think even though we like saw Washington play like, I would say down to the level of New York Excelsior, that like 3-0 is a great momentum booster for a team like that, and I think that it's something that they can definitely ride on going into this series, because I think it is relatively going to be a close one. Chat, though, does not seem to agree with me.
No, they do not. I mean, 22%, again, we've not seen something as crazy as we saw with 5% before,
5%
so at
for
least
Vegas.
we're close to that, like, you know, quarter of a whole percentage thing. You know, we'll leave it at that. But again, a lot of Vancouver fans out there, no surprise at all. You're sticking with us at least in thinking that they're going to win, but it is not us that will be bringing you through all of that action. We have our two lovely casters that are going to be talking about all the action that's going to unfold for the last match of this 5th week, 3rd day. Vicky and Necra, you killed it so far. What are your thoughts going into this? Just give us your insight. We got to know.
So I'm very stubborn. When I choose my pick'ems, I don't change my mind, even if the matches previous prove otherwise. So I had this already 3-0 in favor for the Titans, but then it happened between the Justice and New York day one, and maybe now I could expect this to be a lot closer than I was expecting previously before getting involved in this week. What can you say, Necro?
I think it's gonna be closer than people realize. Like maybe you guys have like a very specific look of like who you think is going to win, but I think the New York Excelsior as a team overall have been pretty underrated coming into this season, especially as you look at their performance in these last few weeks. I feel like they started to really find a groove, figuring out how to fit Fitz and Shockwave both into the roster, with Hanzo now being more of a dominant DPS in our meta. You have Shockwave really picking up that role, and then seeing Fitz flex over to a support when that does end up happening, I feel like really just has done some good here for the New York Excelsior. So while I do think that Vancouver Titans might be on a little bit of a grudge match, trying to get back into things after their loss yesterday, New York Excelsior aren't going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, let's touch up on that actually. After what we had seen from them and the unfortunate C9 outcome between their series against the Houston Outlaws, they're looking for a redemption arc, and this is going to be the team that they're going to be able to nail that frustration on here as the New York Excelsior. They're going to be rolling out with Psycho, of course, being on the May, Fitz being on the Sobra, and then we're going to be seeing Kellen duke it out with the Ramatra against Punk's Winston.
Okay, so a little bit of a brawl versus the dive here from the Titans. The Titans really now looking at trying to make sure that their backline remains stable, as you do have the Brigida and the Ana, but Punk might have a little bit of trouble trying to figure out a way to work against this Ramatra. If this doesn't work out for them and the get-go here for the Titans, I might expect a composition shakeup here.
Yeah, since we are here starting on Antarctic Peninsula too, that Psycho's May is absolutely crazy. His May and his Echo, so putting out these walls are going to allow them to isolate some of the members of the Titans in these close quarter fights by these hallways here as Aspire jumps right over that wall. He's going to be able to find Psycho and Lep on top of it. The Immortality Field comes in from Creative, but then he gets dinged by the Anti, and Aspire needs to get checked because he is literally running away with this on the point here. Kellen finally moves in to try to deal with the problem himself, but Sugar Free's here to help him out. They're having some fun, Necker, the tactical crouching, just to let them know what's up.
Oh no, it's gonna be one of those matches, Vicky. Okay, I guess I didn't know what I should have expected otherwise, honestly. I mean, Vancouver Titans at this point want to try to stunt on the Excelsior. They want to be able to show that they are able to, get these strong wins under their belt, and they were so close to be able to bring the Houston Outlaws to a map wipe yesterday. So that they're here, they're hungry, they want this win.
So does the New York Excelsior here as Phil's just trying to build up that EMP. He's going to get the health hack right at his feet here as Crimzo in the back's got the Nano Boost. He's going to be able to put that onto Punk, who's going to try to take over the high ground here before trying to relocate into a different spot. Gets caught in the vortex as well. Is he going to be able to jump away to some safety, trying to actually isolate the backline between Faith and Crimzo, but the wall not going to help him out here. Psycho gonna get taken down. They're gonna be able to isolate him, and Kellen only 3 up and alive for the Excelsior here. They did put 16% on board earlier on, but they'll be able to re-engage with a bunch of ultimates to work with.
Yeah, they do have the EMP, and that's going to be really the big tool that the New York Excelsior are going to try to rely upon to get back into this one. But Faith still has that rally ready to go just to be able to bolster up that backline and also try to contest with something like the Ramatra Annihilation that could also come online.
The EMP not going to be able to find anyone there. It's just exiting out of the choke point, unleashing it, but Psycho is going to be able to find Sugar Free, and with the DPS out from the Titans, damage won't be here as Punk also gets taken out. He's going to hold onto that Primal, and I like that call here because they already have so much already with 85% on the point. They'll give this point over to the Excelsior.
Yep, Excelsior here, I mean, they didn't even really need the EMP to be more than just a distraction. If you're going to get Sugar Free out of the equation early on, then you can clean up from there. The New York Excelsior absolutely strong enough to be able to do that, but you're also able to hold on to so many ultimates as well if you're New York. You've got the Blizzard, the Annihilation. These are big area of effect ultimates that you're able to lay down on top of the Titans in order to actually just funnel them into a place where you would want to fight them more. So high ground control important here for New York.
Oh no, Psycho, he's staring at the entirety of the Titans that are right here.
Oh, he's in danger.
No, he manages to send out Blizzard, and then immediately you see Faith putting in some extra pressure. Sugar Free's right there, and Punk activates the Primal. The rest of the New York Excelsior go to his aid to help him out. He manages to stay alive, but that cost a lot. Lep had to use a sound barrier. They get some revenge. They finally call out Sugar Free, and they lose out on Creative, who also set down the Ant Matrix. Fitz is going to be able to engage once again with the EMP, maybe finding a lot more out of it than we saw previously. Also see the body block attempt from Psycho. Still going to be able to escape by after isolating him in that side room. And again, it's going to be another reset here for the New York Excelsior while the Titans start making their way to stop this progress. But the EMP from Fitz stops them in their shoes. Lep also gets hit with an anti, but able to isolate Punk was going to be big here as Aspire and Sugar Free are trying to hold on to that high ground, and Sugar Free trying to still hold on to that point.
Get this. I mean, Kellen can just lock things down here with the Annihilation, but does get antied, so has to move away from the point for now. But that does buy some time here for Psycho to get into the backline of the Titans.
Spire's survivability has been out here. Crimzo goes down and Punk is gonna get revenge onto Kellen, but the number advantage is in favor of the New York Excelsior after they're able to take care of Punk. They don't have the survivability, as it's really only up to Faith here. It's gonna be another reset and overtime ticking away. It's gonna allow the New York Excelsior to clear this point. Nobody left to stall from the Vancouver Titans, and they're gonna take round 1 here.
Really clean round coming out from New York as well. They had to give up a little bit sometimes to the Titans, but really to be able to meet their end goal of getting this first round under their belt. And this is a great look from the New York Excelsior as well. They've really been able to rely on this Ramatra brawl, and it's been doing them a lot of favors, just kind of looking towards how they might approach this next point as well. The May was great. You can also still play around with the Ramatra on this next point as we go over to labs. And this is where you're also going to start to see the New York Excelsior try to play around these health packs, as well as just the territorial control once again of the point.
They really sent the whole brigade after Psycho at one point. So much pressure, just trying to fixate their attention on their positioning on that high ground here. A lot more room to work with playing off this high ground here as Kellen gets immediately put to sleep by Crimzo. The Vortex, so much pressure, an anti on top of it. He manages to survive. How is he alive? Creative and left doing so much work. And this is going to build into those ults here too, as Punk is going to be the champion on that high ground so far. They're going to win that extra space as Fitz tries to take a different off angle with some help from left to put him into that position here. But you can see the way that Titans and Excelsior are just trying to skirmish onto the off of this point without really fully committing. And that's because you currently have Fitz being on the Sojourn and Aspire being on this Hanzo.
Aspire is able to just get these shots really early, and if you're able to get that quick pick, then that's something you can capitalize on if you're the Titans. Sojourn takes a little bit more consistency as you start to charge up that railgun shot, but it means you have less to work with if Aspire's just gonna be hitting these shots consistently with the Hanzo.
Anti yeeted onto Punk, the Vortex called in from Kellen. Somebody's gotta check Aspire. He's got help from Faith here though. You saw the attempt as the Excelsior Psycho just drops down. He's got the pulse bomb here, looking at Sugar Free ready. He tries to toss it onto Creative. Doesn't land it. Creative is about to have the nano boost. Kellen is still alive. He gets put to sleep. The nano boost still put onto him, and he wakes up right now, getting involved. Lep is about to get the sound barrier as Crimzo puts the nano boost now onto Punk instead. He's about to get the annihilation and the number advantage once again in a team fight win. Going favor to the Titans here.
Titans look way better on this brawl composition. You know, Punk showing off the Junker Queen last season, really making a name for himself on that more brawl-centric hero. And I feel like the Ramatra is another hero that really plays to his toolkit as a player. So Titans really starting to get a commanding position on this point, especially working up to some of these ultimates now after using the nano boost to help try to bolster up some of the other ultimate charge. You're going to see the Titans take over control of this high ground and wait for the New York Excelsior to come to them.
Oh, that's not the special delivery that he wanted. It's not going to be overnight shipping as the pulse bomb does not land here. It's going to find the Tracer duel between Sugar Free down below. Aspire does have that Dragon Strike ready. Trying to split up the team if the opportunity presents itself. Going to be able to have so much info off of that here. Trying to call out Fitz, using the natural cover of the pillars here as the sound barrier is activated from left. It's going to set the New York Excelsior into position to play aggressive, but they have to get outside of Punk's range as he did call in the annihilation. Runs out, Faith pops in the sound barrier. Aspire gets taken out as he was checked on the high ground. Finally, Fitz moves in to take that spot instead. It's the best spot for Fitz to hold here. And they needed to flip it with overtime ticking away in favor for the Titans. The New York Excelsior can finally get some room to breathe, but they got to take care of Faith and Sugar Free first.
They really do, and Faith and Sugar Free are going to make this really difficult to deal with because they're so slippery as targets. Eventually, though, the Titans do have to give up the point, otherwise they're going to end up falling victim to getting staggered, and you definitely don't want that, knowing that you're just one fight away from the Titans to be able to get back into this and take control of the point. But yeah, Fitz is going to put a stop to the Titans coming back in for now. That does buy Titans some time to be able to get this nano boost online and work up to another rotation of ultimates.
Disruptor shot at the balcony real quick, checking that window. Spire, we saw earlier on the Hanzo making that swap over to the Sojourn now, trying to match that with Fitz. Kellen's got the annihilation. We saw what happened previously with Punk activating at the end of that fight. The Vortex called in from both Rams. Burrito's got the nano boost, the ult economy in favor for the New York Excelsior here first. Spire got hit with a huge anti and then the follow-up from Fitz. Gonna be able to knock him out back into the spawn room. Psycho waiting for an opportunity to not overextend, but to hold on to that pulse bomb to stop the Titans from trying to get on that high ground. And with the pulse bomb delivered onto Crimzo, Sugar Free and Punk are out, and it's going to be another reset for the Titans.
Titans have to go back to the drawing board on this one, but they did hold on to the nano boost that Crimzo has worked up to, and this is kind of what we're looking at here. Vancouver Titans wanted to take an eco push, try to get as much out of the New York Excelsior as they could, but they only got that pulse bomb. That's it. New York Excelsior are going to have 4 ultimates coming into this next fight to the 2 that the Titans have.
Oh my goodness, the nano boost from Crimzo onto Punk. He's about to get the annihilation here too after using the Nemesis form to send everybody from the Excelsior back. The nano boost from Kellen as the annihilation wipes out Crimzo and Aspire overtime, taking away. The Excelsior were so close at 84%. The Titans flip it right back in their favor as Punk enters back with the annihilation. They gotta give him his space. They can't get off this point here with overtime activated right now. And with Fitz now moving in, they see Punk is incredibly low. He gets out of his line of sight to then re-engage. They'll give some extra space over to the Excelsior before they can regroup and then re-engage here.
Okay, that New York Excelsior played that so smart. You see how they were actually able to pincer Punk off at this point, but Titans, they know that they only have one more shot at this one before New York Excelsior can win this round and the map.
From 0 to 100 here too. Let's not forget where Titans were at before the Excelsior flipped this. A sound barrier called in from Faith to start the engagement, but Fitz again with the charge shot here, the disruptor shot going in as well. The overclock activated to take care of all the leftover heads of the Titans. Overtime now ticking away as Psycho delivers the pulse bomb onto Punk. Nobody left from the Titans when they had the lead originally, Necra. The New York Excelsior reclaimed the points.
New York Excelsior, the DPS lineup of this team have been absolutely stellar in these last few weeks here, and I feel like this particular map, absolutely no exception. From start to finish, New York Excelsior made it really difficult for the Titans to walk into it.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge out here. Seeing also the survivability from Lep specifically. We gotta highlight Lep in that last game. He died once and was able to taxi his entire team right back to the point. Also, we saw Punk had to disengage after using his annihilation in that second to last fight there. And although they were able to regroup earlier, it was Fitz who was the MVP of that very last round.
Oh man, I mean, sometimes it just takes a little bit, right? You got to figure out what angle you want to take on the Sojourn. Maybe you start to, get into the groove of being able to hit those railgun shots. But man, did Fitz find that groove. And New York Excelsior off to a great start here in the series.
Yeah, he got like 8 charge shot kills. We saw the overclock kill at the very end. Beautiful look here for the New York Excelsior to get some momentum rolling. We're moving up to Hollywood for our second map. You don't want to miss it.
Hustle, baby, hustle, but the oh my.
Welcome back, everybody. New York Excelsior take our first map on our Tartic Peninsula. We are moving on to Hollywood now, and we got some swap-ups going on after Fitz just absolutely dominated. And honestly, what we saw was the Sojourn tip at the very end right there after that first map. But now he's making the swap over to the support role now, Necro.
Yeah, this is a rotation that we've seen a few times come out here from the New York Excelsior. Usually they'll have Lep, their Lucio player, come in to be able to play the control maps, as well as sometimes we end up seeing them as well on the push maps. But when it comes to some of these more straightaways that we've got over here, it's going to be Fitz actually going over to do the support role in Lep's spot, and Shockwave. Shockwave's Hanzo. That's really what the New York Excelsior are going to try to rely upon here.
Gonna see the Hanzo most likely come out. Also the Ashe too. We saw him popping off on the Ashe recently here. Fitz,
True.
Gonna get the Ana, the Brig. Brig looks like we're gonna be sticking to. I was expecting the Brig here also going into the second map. Wondering how this is going to change things up, though, in terms of the Titans. Because the Titans, obviously, everybody had them favored out here. The New York Excelsior, though, have definitely started cooking up different things to work out for this roster. And what they needed to really shape up here. And Nepra, although there isn't too much on the line, the stakes are nicely implied here, where the winner of this match has to play the San Francisco Shock in the knockouts, and then the loser has to play Toronto. So that's what these two teams are essentially playing for here.
I think they'd be okay with either opponent, actually. So I think at the end of the day, this is just a moral victory for either of these teams. Vancouver Titans want to try to even up their score line here, and so do the New York Excelsior. They're both sitting at 3-4 right now, with this being their last match in the qualifiers. And Shockwave with a nice pick there. New York Excelsior off to a blazing fast start.
Now we're going upward here with Shockwave. Nice explosive way to make an entry before the Titans now look for an opportunity to then re-engage, it looks like. You get the second tick here. Who's going to start the engagement? You can see Punk jumping in from the high ground with Shockwave with another first pick. Now onto Aspire as Punk gets deleted, melted, not just with the ante, but with the damage output. The New York Excelsior say, you're not ready for this. They immediately speedrun their way to get this payload unlocked.
Well, no one's on the payload.
Oh.
Okay, wait. Okay, we're good. Cool.
It's the high ground.
I know. You know what? Listen, I know what the priorities are, but... do you remember?
Yes, you do.
Do you remember when you had the volley that I could just shoot at the feet of the heroes?
Oh, no. No.
No?
No.
Nightmare fuel.
It's nightmare fuel. I get PTSD thinking about it, especially on that side room by the payload. Shockwave, Aspire. He's got a family. How could you do this to him? He hits him again, dunking him in the head as they take control over this high ground. Payload's texting away. He's taking a nap real quick here. You can see Fitz is right on top of him. Don't worry, I got you. But my goodness.
That's a real friend right there. You know that's a great Brigitte player when they just stand over your body to block for you when you fall asleep.
All right, the Nano Boost onto Punk right now. Kellen's also going to get the Nano Boost put onto him. Got a plethora of ultimates to work with looking at the Excelsior. The rally was called in first from Faith here. Punk has the Primal. Kellen already used up his when he had that Nano Boost put onto him initially. Also, the space that Shockwave could buy in with that Dragon Strike is going to be big as the rally now comes in from Fitz. Punk still isolating the backline. Somebody help creative as he gets taken down. A huge ante onto Psycho and Fitz coming in from Crimso. They finally take care of the problem that was on the high ground above the payload with the Shockwave. It's going to be a disengage here from the Excelsior.
Vancouver Titans finally get a chance to stabilize and catch their breath as the onslaught of the New York Excelsior is finally been put at bay. But Vancouver Titans really looking right now at the EMP from Sugar Free as well as the Pulse Pump from Aspire to really help lend a hand in this next engagement. That's so early!
Oh, was it worth though? Is there going to be a follow-up here? The EMP early hits at that side room and
no,
there is not going to be anything done off of that. So they use the EMP here and that was going to try to work into that win con for the Titans, which is going to be detrimental.
Oh my gosh, it's like New York Excelsior expected that. They didn't need anything there. They were like, Sugar Free, you EMP'd us? Well, you're dead. And let's take a look at you playing against a Brigida in a small room. I don't think you like that either if you're the Titans. Aspire getting taken out here as well. This is a quick point feed capture for New York Excelsior, and they are swiftly making their way through third.
Shockwave looking back at Fitz like, you want to see me do it again? I'll make you proud coming out of that first map real quick here.
No.
He's been putting in the work, by the way. Look at this payload finally making its move right through the gates of that second checkpoint here. But it's about creating the space that the Excelsior were trying to buy in, as Punk is going to dive in with the Nano Boost here. He's going to be able to isolate Shockwave, the problem. Good call out from the Titans, as they're going to be able to add in some extra pressure through this choke. Saw Kellen put to sleep just briefly here. And finding Fitz is going to force the Excelsior to back off just for a bit.
We got Punk with the Primal Rage. Maybe Faith getting the rally online as well. Just, you need to be able to sustain through this damage, and you also just can't get picked off by Shockwave. Which is easier said than done here, but you really need to be paying attention.
Oh my goodness! Shockwave! What did you eat? This is crazy!
Oh my god, he's so like unbothered.
Like, I mean, he was having fun. You saw it in the chat already earlier here.
Sonic
Shockwave right
bouncy.
Now. I mean,
got the bouncy arrows.
they do go everywhere. They do be going everywhere. Oh, no. EMP though coming in, but Fitz, with the reaction, frame perfect with that rally activated to shut down Sugar Free and to get no follow-up off of the EMP that Sugar Free has unleashed again, by the way, and that's with Punk now diving in with the Primal. He got hit with an anti. He can't even back away into the line of sight of Crimson Phase. They're also getting pressed by Psycho here. Fitz fighting these picks alongside Shockwave once again. Dragon Strike moving in here, just trying to control that side room spawn door, and nobody from the Titans could stop the Excelsior once they got this cart moving.
No one could stop Shockwave.
Kellen and Psycho did not dive, by the way.
No, they didn't. This is just like, whoa, what aggression coming out from New York. This is one of the reasons why you run the Hanzo, right? You're really looking to try to get those quick picks early on, and then you have that player advantage to be able to initiate the rest of the fight with. But the other problem that Shockwave really poses on the Hanzo is that those volleys of arrows are just deleting these bubbles that Punk is putting down. It's making the rest of the team vulnerable. You can't peek your head out. And when the Sonic arrows are also giving up so much intel about where Sugar Free is, where Aspire is, that's some easy pickings there for the front line as well of the New York Excelsior.
Gotta take a look at the replay here from Fitz.
This was like the bash.
This is huge. Into the sleep. Beautiful. The Nano boosted Punk just taking a nap on the cart. Nobody to serve him. You can see he's at his piece.
This happened like a few times though. This happened a few times where Punk got nanoed, tried to jump in with Primal or something, and Creative and Fix just gave him the 1-2 punch. Got whip shot away from the backline and then immediately put to sleep. That was also one of the finishing blows that the New York Excelsior dealt on that attack push.
Necro, to be a fly on the wall, to hear what Changun has told this team, because he is cooking with the changes that we've seen from the New York Excelsior. They were punching the air after what happened against the Shock. They're making sure that they do not have to relive a memory like that again with the redemption arc that we're seeing. And Anti onto Punk here. It's just going to be a regroup for the Titans to see where they're going to try to engage to the back.
Look at this, even Aspire actually gonna switch roles here with Sugar Free as Sugar Free takes up the realm of the Tracer, and now Aspire trying to put in that legwork on the Hanzo as well, but gotta contest with a Shockwave here. Shockwave is warm and ready.
And Aspire got picked earlier too from Psycho. Not having the best time so far in these entry engagements with the rest of his team. And Titans are just taking their time, and while they're playing slow here, they're wasting some time here and allowing the Excelsior to still get set up on the high ground.
At this point, the Vancouver Titans are just kind of looking for that nano boost, looking for an opening pick. They need something to be able to contest with this one.
Big.
Kellen may be that opening pick.
That's huge. Look how many members of the Titans that it takes to take care of Kellen. Shockwave immediately answering back says, that's fine. You'll take Kellen. We'll be able to take Faith here. And Aspire goes out right after that from Psycho. Sugar Free delivering with the pulse and then hitting Creative up the stairs. Sugar Free's upset. He is locked in. He's already holding forward. You can see him leaning in front of his monitor right now as they are able to get the first tick. He's going to be able to move up with Punk hand in hand as the Nano Boost was put onto Punk so that way they can guarantee that this payload starts moving.
Yeah, and the dive from the Vancouver Titans looked really good yesterday. You know, when we take a look at how that match ended up going with the Houston Outlaws, the Vancouver Titans still put up a heck of a fight, but it came down to those final 2 maps. This is a way better look for them, leaning more into the Aspire. Hanzo Aspire has been such a sharpshooter for the team, and just kind of leaving the Sombra at home. Sugar Free now picking up the Tracer duties also has looked a little bit better, so a little bit more comfort coming out from the Titans, and it's definitely giving them some favors heading into the second point.
See the players in their elements and what they're comfortable with here is Excelsior have claimed onto this high ground, got into position beforehand. See Shockwave, though, putting in pressure from the high ground. Again, needs to get checked here, as Psycho's also been really good at following up from the pressure that's put onto the backline of Faith and Crimzo. See him just waiting. Also, some help from Kellen is going to be big here. They have a plethora of ultimates to work with. All ultimates online for the Excelsior. As Punk activates the Primal, they force Shockwave off the high ground, but that's fine. Shockwave looks at danger in the face, says no way. Psycho gets the pulse bomb pick onto Aspire, as he's still trying to rack up the Dragon Strike here. Rally for rally here between Faith and Fitz. They both go down as Fitz overextends and finds Faith, but that costs his life as Sugar Free was able to get that pulse bomb pick.
Okay, I mean, you still stave off the Titans' attack push, though, as Kellen is able to make his way into the back line, able to build up to that Primal Rage. Titans are going to be able to approach the cart again, but not before the New York Excelsior are going to keep this high ground control. Kellen's getting pincered, though. It does have the Primal Rage, though, to be able to pop to get away.
Yeah, had that for safety measures. The insurance policy coming in to fruition. Kellen is going to be able to back away and still stick on the high ground here, but Crimso's got the Nano Boost, which is going to be the game plan here to make sure that they have this high ground in the bag, while the payload is going to be taxied along right down below. They're going to have to try to force the Excelsior off by the high ground of the jail. Shockwave gets picked by Aspire. Aspire waking up a bit. He needs to here. He's been getting picked consistently between Shockwave and Psycho and was finally able to get some revenge.
I mean, Aspire is one of the reasons as well that we ended up seeing the Vancouver Titans have that success, or almost success, being able to bring the Houston Outlaws very much closer to that map number 5. And it's because of the sharpshooter that we've really seen, and the mechanical skill coming out from Aspire is definitely something that New York Excelsior seem to be struggling with just a little more.
Oh, he wanted it so bad. Tried to get the turnaround pull stick, doesn't get it, and then gets shut down by Punk. Not going according to plan for the Excelsior now that the Titans have regained control here in terms of the pacing of this series. They now clean up the Excelsior, and they're going to be able to move forward, clean up some space upcoming in this corner.
Well, when the New York Excelsior were on their attack push, they ended up finishing that third objective with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the bank. So the Titans at this point need to finish the map, and they need to finish it with any time at all. So that's really what they're playing towards right now, as we look at Sugar Free trying to get set up here for the Pulse Bomb, and Punk is able to play up even more aggressive, knowing that he has the Primal Rage as well.
Aspire. Oh, drop it down and lands the heady off the cycle. A little hello. So that way he can start feeling himself here too. Making
Aspire's
sure that
the Hanzo too.
Yeah, gotta make sure that we keep him in this conversation here. They're gonna also have some ultimates to work with, as well as Creative with that Nano Boost Necro.
Creative's got the Nano, maybe give that over to Kellen. Shockwave is also very close to the Dragon Strike, so you can send that down a flank as well. But Shockwave's dead.
Huge here. And Fitz had also got the flail originally on Punk to just push him away briefly before Sugar Free now moves in. Tries to send out the Pulse Bomb. Doesn't get the stake here that he was looking for or the outcome. Now Punk activates the Primal. See the anti landing onto Sugar Free. Creative though, getting tossed around with the supports in the back. Manages to restabilize as Punk manages to get away too, to retreat onto the high ground. They're just gonna wait out on this rally. They got 2 minutes to work with.
Yeah, you want to make sure that that overhealth expires from the rally before you move in, especially knowing that you have the rally of your own, and that could be the sustain you need. But Shockwave sends that Dragon Strike right down main.
And you see Punk trying to dive right on top of him, and he can't get away. Shockwave being able to get that pick, but Aspire having different plans, sending out the Dragon Strike is going to be able to catch Psycho in the line of sight, and Faith getting the follow-up onto Shockwave.
Oh, look at this, though. Sugar Free's taking that off angle to be able to try to put some pressure down onto Kellen, making it way harder for Creative right now to make sure he can get the heal up.
Well, we got a minute, less than 30 seconds here as Punk made the desperate swap over to the Doom. Sugar Free goes out without having that pulse bomb ready. Creative was able to call him out. You just Faith is going to be able to try to get that shield bash in as Punk immediately gets deleted by Shockwave. Now Creative playing safely in the back line as it's back to the drawing board for the Titans.
Titans still have a minute to work with, though. I think that the Doomfist was there for the Titans to be able to try to get the point with the advantage that they ended up having there. You had a couple of members down on the New York Excelsior, so if you're able to get back fast enough, maybe that's exactly what you need. But the respawn advantage is so big here for New York Excelsior. Even if it's going down here, it's not that big of a disaster yet.
Huge plays being made by Aspire, coming to live with 9.4k damage and climbing right now. Kellen moving forward, but they've lost out on Creative, who just sent out that nano boost. Is it gonna get what he needed from it? Sugar Free now cleaning up what is left. Creative making the desperate swap over the kitty goal, but Fitz was right there, but too much pressure preventing him from regrouping on the payload.
Yeah, New York Excelsior right there, we're trying to play for the overtime onto the Vancouver Titans. You still had 23 seconds to be able to get through, and that was a lot to ask for. Even if Fitz was right there, you had like the full team of the Titans to get through, plus the sustain that they ended up having. It was just too much damage on the board there for Excelsior to stand through. So I think that overall, you were looking at Titans finishing up the map. They only have a minute, though. That extra bit in the time bank also going over to the New York Excelsior's final time pool. So they got over 3 minutes to work with here, as it's going to be Titans up to the attack first.
And that's going to be important because we saw how quick the Excelsior were able to take that first point with Shockwave getting that first pick onto Aspire. They're able to spread out the Titans. Now, though, we're starting things off on the defense for the Excelsior. It's going to be the Titans attacking first. Again, like you mentioned, Necro, look at this limited time bank that they have to work with. But it took a little bit of time. Aspire got some important picks at the very end right there with Punk. Also able to get the follow, putting in a lot of space between the Titans and the Excelsior.
And while the Excelsior ended up having such a lightning fast attack, the Titans still were able to start to figure out how to break this Excelsior defense with Aspire on the Hanzo. He really did warm up as you went into those further points of their attack push. So Aspire is not wasting any time. The Titans are going to heavily lean into this Hanzo pick from Aspire to see if they can get the job done here with only a minute on the clock.
Nice INT onto Psycho. Punk tries to engage off of that. Back away, realizes not a good idea to fight for that high ground with the way the Excelsior are playing spread apart with that in their line of sight. Less than 30 seconds here, and Shockwave again gets the first pick here onto Aspire. Now they don't have to worry about these open sight lines as the Excelsior to get in a more aggressive stance and diving right on top of Faith and the follow from Shockwave. You got less than 15 seconds now to put a toe onto that point, and that's one way to do it with Sugar Free still alive to get that pick.
Okay, well, I mean, you did end up overextending here, and the Titans are going to punish you for that. Got a little greedy with the picks that they wanted to get here, and the Titans should be able to cap this point.
Overtime ticking away, and Aspire and Sugar Free were upset. Aspire came right back on the Sojourn change-up, and Sugar Free cleaned up the back line. Titans still in this.
Titans absolutely are still in this, but with overtime active, they cannot get off of this cart. And so you're going to have to see them try to play together as a unit, which is something that the New York Excelsior are going to try to disrupt. Titans, though, Crimzo has beaten Creative to the punch of getting this nano boost online, and Sugar Free put in so much work on that first point that the pulse bomb's going to be ready too. Titans have a lot to work with heading into this first engagement of overtime.
Nano boost online for Crimzo. Same cannot be said yet for Creative. They cannot get off this point, and that means Excelsior have the high ground. It's up to Punk to force him off. I mean, isolating Fitz is a good idea, but you got Creative right there. Faith calls out Psycho, trying to arrest their backline. Shockwave still finds Sugar Free, though. Punk unleashes the Primal, splitting apart the backline. Overtime still activated as Shockwave is going to rain down from the high ground. Gonna be able to reposition here as Faith once again gets another pick. He has been on point and he's about to get the rally. They shoot down Shockwave. This is big. This is extra progress for the Titans with their limited time back that they had.
Titans are taking an inch and turning it into a mile here, and they are such a momentum-based team that this is really playing them so many favors right now. Sugarfree still hasn't had to use the Pulse Bomb yet. Faith with the rally online as well. You're really trying to get all of these ultimates out of the New York Excelsior's bank, and Titans are finding insurmountable value with their own.
Jumping onto the high ground is gonna be Kellen with the Primal. Oh my goodness, Faith deletes Kellen with some help on the high ground and then immediately gets retaliated from Fitz here. He activated the rally and didn't get what they needed as the overtime activated still for the Excelsior. Well, they keep their feet. Oh, they got it all the way there. Well, the Titans were able to finally get it to that second checkpoint and the Excelsior were just looking at them from the high ground.
Oh my god, Excelsior, you're gonna get staggered here unless they're able to start to finish up the card. The overtime's gonna expire really quickly. You can't get off of the card if you're the Titans.
Oh no, but they've lost their backline now, Necra. They're staggering here, and now the Titans are gonna get even more progress on this point. They got to regroup here for the Excelsior.
The Titans, they're doing it. They're just doing it. They only had a minute in the time bank right now, and look at how far they're getting. They're almost towards that third and final objective. And Crimso is working so hard to be able to get this nano boost online, try to give it over to Punk, get that front line strong before New York Excelsior were able to pull the trigger again. Oh my god!
Nice follow. Oh, and he still can't get away. He still can't get away. What is this right now? This coordination from the Titans put to sleep with the anti and then Punk finishing off Kellen. More time ticking away. Are they about to finish this run? With no time, they find Shockwave again. They're hugging the spawn room doors. Punk getting even more space. Ready as he says hello to the support line of Creative and Fitz. They have managed to make this work. The Primal has been activated. Fitz is falling incredibly low. He's not going to live for any longer. Sugarfree cleans him up. Punk waves his hands with the Primal, and Aspire finishes off what is left of the Excelsior. They did it, Necra. The Titans, with less than a minute, get the completion.
The odds were so stacked against them.
Initiating.
Chris was like, uh-oh. Yeah, uh-oh. Uh-oh is right. If you are the New York Excelsior, you can't afford to make any mistakes. New York can't lose fight. I mean, like, you have a 3-minute time bank, but also this can go so wrong. This can go so wrong for New York here. If you lose a fight and you start to get off kilter with your ultimates, that's a problem. And if Vancouver Titans just take some eco pushes here, they can come at you with a full slate of 5 and bully you off the card.
Oh my gosh.
God, Crimso showed up so big on this push.
Crimso has shown up big this entire map. It's actually insane. He's got 15 elims. He's only died 3 times. And his healing output, by the way, 17k. Creative is right behind him with 16.8, but the survivability is the difference because Creative has died 6 times, doesn't have nearly the same efforts done with the elims. It's crazy to see the way that they've been able to waver off the pressure that Psycho's been able to put down. But also notice Shockwave's pretty quiet, not really typing out here like he did in that first round.
Yeah, you saw the come through in the chat, and I think Shockwave right now maybe feeling a little bit of that pressure to try to keep this duel up with Aspire. Does get Aspire pretty low here as he's able to take control of this high ground, but Shockwave's job right now is just to get some space ready to go and also make sure that he doesn't get taken down here by Sugarfree or Aspire.
Oh, I love the stall on the rooftop to prevent the dive from working between Punk and Sugarfree. They're trying to isolate Shockwave and also Kellen with his reaction to give some support over to Shockwave with the bubble. Jumping away now, seeing where the Titans are going to be approaching from the back of the point. Oh, we see the shield bash coming in from Faith here as the big anti lands onto Crimso and Aspire, but they lost out on Punk at the beginning of that fight. Backing away now as Shockwave was able to get that successfully. Just poking in and out now is going to be the Excelsior. They need to try to capture this point with the time bank they've built up for themselves in their initial attack.
We're going to see the point capture maybe come through here, but the reinforcements for the Titans are starting to come back. They're stalling. Titans are stalling right now. They want to try to get as much of this time bank whittled away as possible without expending too many of their ultimates. The longer that they end up bringing this fight, the less time that New York Excelsior have to work with and the less mistakes that they can make.
Oh my goodness, but Creative and Fitz are putting in work and keeping Psycho and Shockwave alive. Sugar Free tried so hard there. And then the rest of the Excelsior just cleaned up what was left of the Titans. And they're going to get this payload moving, and they got 1 minute and 20 seconds now to work with.
Minute and 20 seconds is still a little bit of cushion. New York Excelsior could afford to lose a single fight here, but then they would still have to play flawlessly as the overtime would start to activate on that second engagement. But here, you just want to keep this momentum rolling. The Nano Boost first. Kella's got to make good work of this one.
Yeah, from the Nano Boost, he's got the Primal here too. He put in some pressure, but Faith activating the rally is going to force him away, as Fitz is going to answer right back with his own rally now. Faith falling incredibly low, and they lost out on Sugar Freeze. Aspire now answers back with the Dragon Strike. It's found the backline. Punk isolating Fitz. That's going to also delay even more time away from the Excelsior, as it's a ready reset happening from them.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I was talking about. You lost this fight. New York Excelsior could afford that. You have 30 seconds remaining now to be able to get back to the cart. And you still have tools to work with. Shockwave's Dragon Strike, Kellen's Primal Rage. Psycho's going to have a post bomb coming up online very shortly as well. But this is where you can't make any mistakes. You had your one life. It's off the board. That's it. You've got to play flawlessly from here, or Vancouver Titans are going to walk away with this one.
You gotta feel the pressure that the Titans had to feel before, but with losing out on Crimzo, less than 5 seconds on the clock to be on that point to force the overtime, and this is a great look already for the Excelsior to get this second checkpoint. They do lose out on Shockwave. Kellen fighting for the high ground here, seeing Faith low, they solidified that pick, but Sugar Free again has now found 3. Initially it was with Shockwave, now he's found Kellen here next. And they were able to fight for that high ground originally here, and Psycho's just taxing along this middle. They have to, overtime again, taking away.
Sugar Free still behind the Excelsior, though. Can't get off the point, though. Overtime is active, and New York Excelsior, they can't afford any mistakes.
Oh, talk about mistakes, though. Fitz could have gotten his rally for this fight, and now Aspire was set up on top of the jail. They isolate the rest of the Excelsior, and the Titans say, we are still in this. After a close series yesterday, they're making sure that this is going to go down to the wire, taking Hollywood.
That was so impressive by the Titans. Holy moly. 1 minute in the time bank? That's all they had on that second round. And they were still able to get all 3 points. 6-4. When have we seen that? When have we seen that?
With no time from the very beginning. Shockwave came out of this popping off. We were wondering, what did this guy eat today? Then Aspire started ramping up, so I'm in the conversation here too. Crimzo did a fantastic job staying alive, helping PO for Faith with these nano boosts. These sleeps too put onto Psycho when he tried to toss out the pulse bomb. Says, all right, well, it's none of my business, making sure to take care of him, annihilating him from the equation. But also, there were so many good moments from each individual member of the Titans. Faith also went crazy getting 18 elims. He was on top of these rallies that he constantly was getting shut down by the Excelsior because he was a problem. All right, we got a tight series down in Necro. We're moving on to Shambali Monastery for our third map, and that's going to be on the other side of this break.
I'm playing Joe.
Chase a point.
I'm not there.
Pick one. Nice.
Just a corner reach.
야, 노을트.
Another.
Nice.
Good
point.
Recovery.
Good shot.
What a cringe map.
Welcome back, everybody, with the Vancouver Titans taking map number 2 with a 1-minute time bank full cap on Hollywood. Necra, I don't remember the last time we've seen a 6-pointer map in the Overwatch League, but it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I don't know if it's happened at all, actually, in the lifespan of Overwatch 2 in the Overwatch League. It certainly has not happened yet this year, and it was absolutely a sight to watch. Now I don't know what to expect. Do we get another overtime push? Shambali Monastery has also been kind of living up to that as being one of those maps that has gone into multiple overtimes, especially in APAC.
Yeah, we're seeing some change-ups going into the lineup of the New York Excelsior. Now Fitz is moving away from support back onto DPS. Kellen and Lep reunited again together here, as well as creative now. We're going to be able to see what's going to happen because so far, the New York Excelsior looked like they were on fire. Shockwave was finding himself some crazy headies going into that second map and immediately just fell from his hands, seeing what we witnessed after their initial attack into the defense from the Titans and then their attack.
I think a lot of what happened to the New York Excelsior is that Vancouver Titans just put them into panic mode. You could tell that the New York Excelsior's dives were starting to fall apart there. Kellen kind of overextending, Titans really punishing that, especially when you ended up seeing the tail end of that second point B capture for the Vancouver Titans. New York Excelsior still had 3 members alive waiting on the high ground, and Titans were able to just stagger them out. So let's see what's gonna happen here. I don't know what was going on in the match chat over there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and focus on the fact that we are gonna see the Ramacha Brawl come out from both of these teams as one of the reasons why Left is going to be slotted back into the roster to make sure that you have that Lucio available for them to move around the map.
See if some of these fights usually happen on Shambali, just playing so close to the spawn as Fitz is trying to get into position here. See Kellen and Punk trying to duke it out. Psycho and Sugar Free, though, respectively on the Mei, is going to be able to create and isolate some of these individuals with the Mei walls, especially down this entry sightline exiting out of the spawn room door. Sugar Free falling low, and so does Punk. The Immortality Field coming in from Crimzo, saving Punk and Sugar Free in that instance. And Sugar Free is going to be able to move up and then find Lep, but that's going to force him to overextend as Kellen is going to be able to claim him. That's 3 out, make it 4. Everybody wiped from the Excelsior here as the Titans with another successful team fight on the defense.
Wow, the Titans right now, like, they're angry. I get it. You know, after that first map, I feel like they just didn't get a chance to show us their full strength as a team. And now, with the momentum that they generated on Hollywood, you're really looking at this brawl to try to keep taking everybody out.
What happened? You guys were out here. The biggest fumbling of all bags, and Aspire now is upset. He's moved in to clean up what's left of the team. But they were looking so good. They made those adjustments. I'm not too big of a fan of the Fitz Brig, and now, of course, that's why we're seeing him back on the Hanzo, but too little too late when you think about the mental boom that last map could have caused.
At this point, too, I mean, this is just also Titans being able to play on these maps that really do favor their hero pools. They also started to figure out exactly how to be able to break the New York Excelsior here, and that's why you see this, like, beautiful kite, some Blizzard on top, Sugar Free.
That was expensive, but it's worth to hold this position right now because you use the Blizzard. You see Aspire still clicking these heads with these charge shots here. Punk in the Nemesis form is duking it out in the ring, and they clean up another team fight.
Titans' game right now is to try to buy as much time off of this clock as possible. It's working. Oh my god, it's working. They don't really have a whole lot right now. They're looking at Crimso's Amplification Matrix to try to stave off this attack push from the Excelsior, but Excelsior walking back into this one with a lot.
Oh, Vortex to Vortex here as Fitz is going to be able to get that charge shot onto Punk. That's going to at least give the Excelsior some extra room to work with. The wall to isolate Sugar Free. or to run, and when you're in the line of sight of Fitz. They also have so many ultimates to work with once they get around this next corner and into that next choke point that's up ahead. Of course, we know that Chambali really does benefit the defensive team.
It does. It really does. And Vancouver Titans are absolutely capitalizing on that one. I mean, look at this. Your sub 1 minute territory, Titans have already done their job of trying to hold this payload at the door. You get 2 more fights here if you're lucky. And Titans, you know, they're just trying to get as much out of the New York Excelsior as possible before trying to come back in for that last minute contest.
And look, they're playing off this high ground, exiting out a little window that you saw them exit from. The amp matrix from both sides now activated, and Punk gets deleted by Psycho. Be able to find that heady. Lep also has that sound barrier that he's still holding on to here, as Aspire's also holding on to the overclock. He got less than 30 seconds now on the clock here. Here's some extra space as well from the Disruptor shot, as Psycho and Kellen coming in to clean up the leftover Titans. As Punk was the first one to go down in that fight. They didn't have that space to work with from the Nemesis form that Punk could have had.
New York Excelsior are still executing a lot of patience here with these ultimates. You actually can see a last-second contest come in here for the Titans. Oh, the label to block him off. Punk's alone.
Oh, and Aspire has unleashed the overclock, and he's found Fitz shutting him down. The Blizzard called in the Annihilation Faith, moving Punk into position with the sound barrier. It is a cleanup, and nobody's left from the Excelsior on this point. As overtime takes away, it's going to be a full hold from the Titans.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Titans wanted. Oh my god. They played that perfectly. You hold that spawn as far as you can. You get it down to like that minute 30 mark. If you lose another fight there, no big deal. If you're able to stop that on the second fight, then you're good. As soon as you round the corner, though, and you go in for that last-minute contest, Titans were able to overwhelm with that ultimate economy. They had saved so many ults in the bank. New York Excelsior just didn't have enough to be able to stave that off. Also, Aspire doing Aspire things. Let's just not count that out, right?
Is actually insane. Putting in so much damage. Looking at them through their spawn room doors in that brief amount of time, I think he had put in like 3.5k damage in like a minute. He was going crazy.
Yeah.
He finished that round with like 17 elims, 11 final blows. But everybody across the Titans, the survivability was on point. Punk also was at such a good position. Aside from that one fight that he was the first one to get picked off, which is the only fight that we saw live from the Excelsior. But now we're swapping spots now, Necra. The Excelsior is sitting on the defense. We saw him do a really good job in the previous map here, but I think the momentum has shifted significantly here in favor for the Titans.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, the Titans also don't have a whole lot of distance to have to cover with this cart before they're able to take the lead in this series after New York started with that first map win. But this has been starting to look really one-sided here as the Titans come out of the gates.
Titans are angry, and they're looking to find some of these picks as Punk is taking that off angle. Caught in the Disruptor shot. Maybe move away as they try to get involved with Kellen. Sugar Free also, seeing that the wall is put up by Psycho. Punk is going to be able to just burst right through it here. See the Vortex on the ground as Kellen gets eliminated from Aspire. Aspire says, I'm not having the New York Excelsior win today. It's been such a detrimental piece here for the Titans, and Punk gets taken out from left, falling incredibly low, and Crimzo had already used up the Immortality Field early, but look how quick he's about to get the Amp Matrix in comparison to Creative.
Yeah, Crimzo's just been absolutely feasting on the amount of damage coming in from the New York
Aspire!
Look at that! Oh my god! Aspire with the 3K right there. That is just unbelievably clutch for the Titans. They have so much time to work with right now, Vicky. Ooh, like 3 minutes on the clock. New York Excelsior, they've got to come back into this one, but Crimson's got the Amp Matrix already to be able to push the New York Excelsior away. They're clinical right now. Absolutely clinical from the Titans.
Crimzo holding on to that Amp Matrix now as the Vortex from both sides put down on this choke. See the walls also coming in as the Amp Matrix on top of the payload gets activated, looking from right to left to prevent the Excelsior from splitting up their attention. Fitz has that overclock ready. It's Creative still looking down the Amp Matrix here himself. He's hanging out more so towards the back on the high ground. Overclock activated as well as the Blizzard now from Sugar Free. Psycho gets caught into it as he sends out the Blizzard. not the timing that you were expecting here, as the Titans are just going to hold forward thanks to Crimson's Immortality Field. They're going to reposition. They have the number advantage. Annihilation activated from both sides. It's Kellen that needs some help. Fitz gets deleted from Sugar Free. And Leb had already used the sound barrier earlier. So only 3 alive here for the Excelsior, while the Titans just have a free road to just traverse through to finish off what is left of the Excelsior while moving this payload across the way.
Oh my god, New York Excelsior are gonna get staggered here if they're not careful, and Titans at this point actually just gonna push in the car. Can Kellen get there?
No way!
He can't. He couldn't get there.
Maybe through the window attempt, like... Oh... The wall too. There was just so much pressure. There was so much pressure coming in from the Titans. In that moment, they didn't feel like they could push. The wall was also up at one point there too. See Left that was trying to wall ride through the right side from that choke. But there was just, they had no time to work with. I mean, the Titans just like, you know, you could take map 1. It's completely fine. We'll just go in for a 3-1 instead.
The gentleman's sweep, if you will. I see how it is. The false sense of security, maybe. No, I mean, listen, Vancouver Titans played out that first map, like, as they should in front of the New York Excelsior. Fitz just went absolutely crazy there on that first map, but, you know, Titans really starting to get to a groove here for this one, and they've got the stats to show it. My God, did Aspire put in such a deadlift on that one.
It was actually crazy, and now we are at match point for the Vancouver Titans, sitting at 2-1 versus the New York Excelsior. We got map 4 underway. It's going to be onto New Queen Street, and it's going to be on the other side of this break. Shout out to the Vancouver Titans fans watching. That looks so fun, Necker. I always love seeing the energy from the fans coming through, and the team is doing it. Aspire popping off, Shambali coming through. I mean, that must have been the biggest deadlift that we saw at the very end from Aspire. Everybody from the team was popping off, but Aspire specifically, he got angry. After what happened at the very beginning of Hollywood, nah, scrap that. They're out here with the first 6-point map that a team could take for the season, and we are out here with the stats for Aspire after that previous map. Look at this, 2 deaths, 16 charge shot kills with 17 final blows and 25 elims. Insane.
Yep, that's a deadlift right there. My goodness, Aspire was a part of basically every elimination that the Vancouver Titans ended up dealing to the New York Excelsior, and this is exactly what the fans of Vancouver Titans want to see. Like, get loud, because I know the team can hear you. They are absolutely feeling that energy right now and want to deliver. They absolutely are too.
Yeah, it's beautiful seeing what we've seen so far from the Titans, especially after the outcome of yesterday's game, making sure to reset that mental and go into it again. Mal, I don't know if the same could be said about the New York Excelsior. They looked great. They looked confident. You saw what Shockwave was saying in the chat, you know, starting things off on Hollywood originally when he was in this lineup afterwards, and then seeing how that's all transitioned now. Now, we can't let that mentality, though, boom, the New York Excelsior. You got to let this keep rolling. Just reset, go again, because we are on New Queen Street.
Yeah, you saw the players got a chance to take a little bit of a halftime. Maybe this is a great place for the New York Excelsior just to clear their heads, clear their minds, and head back into this next map, feeling what they were feeling in that first one. We're going back to basics as well. There's no swaps, there's no subs coming in from either roster, and this is where we saw New York Excelsior start to shine on the Arctic Peninsula. It's another type of control-oriented map. As you head over New Queen Street as well, you're really going to try to play on these off angles that the map provides. Very similar nature of how you might want to run these teams.
You know, we get set up. I'm wondering here, the Titans getting that extra boost after first map. I wonder if they're eating like breadsticks or something in that room. I mean, they're feeling. I mean, you never know out here. I mean, they maybe they do. We'll have to see.
Oh no.
As we get rolled out here, no changes that we've seen from the New York Excelsior. We're sticking to what we had in the previous map now. Fitz sticking onto the Sojourn perhaps as well. Titans maybe cooking up something different on this approach on New Queen Street, but this is something that we have seen before with the Junker Queen.
The Punker Queen? Are we getting the Punker Queen right now? Oh my god, we're getting the Punker Queen. Okay, Vicky, I am here for this. Junker Queen, when it first came out, was a hero that Punk immediately picked up on and was able to do so much with. And so being able to see this again, like, I'm really excited to see if it sticks. Fitz is gonna get the first blood, though.
Yeah, I want to see angry Fitz out here. He's already found that first pick until Aspiring. But the quick disengage decision coming in from the Titans just so that way they could regroup as a full man squad.
Yeah, and you're actually going to see Crimzo go over to the... Whoa, what's happening to the Titans right now? Okay, they see the Mayra Montreal come out from the Excelsior, but they're looking at the Doomfist Zenyatta. Crimzo Zenyatta.
Oh, all right.
My.
I want to see this cook out here. We've seen Crimzo on the Zen before, and he's been doing such a good job already for the Titans. See Punk already getting on top of this high ground. Oh my goodness! He bashed his head on top of the roof of that side building and then deleted left. Called him out, being out of position just slightly with the rest of the team when he thought he was safe over on the other side of the train. Now Punk gonna be able to get away in time, but he got isolated by Psycho's Maywall. It's fine, he's gonna be able to reposition here right behind the bot, but then unfortunately gets slowed down as Fitz moves in, finds that nice shot here onto Punk. He gets deleted here, but the Titans, it's gonna be another reason the Excelsior have now found some momentum on their side.
Yeah, look at that. Lep able to get up into Sugar Free's face, but this is going to be where we start to see the New York Excelsior get stopped for now. The Vancouver Titans are coming back into this one, and they're trying to hit hard and hit fast. That's why you see Crimzo on the Zenyatta. You've got those Orbs of Discord to help amplify the damage onto the Titans. Make sure that you're just chunking down the Excelsior here.
Peeking through with the damage.
Ooh.
right through the wall, getting hacked right behind him, just trying to call out where Fitz could be. Oh my goodness, he almost got that charge shot on top of him. And nice anti onto Psycho and Creative after Psycho unleashes the Blizzard and Creative put down the amp. But there's nobody other than Fitz in sight and Kellen to really help out and make anything work from there. And Sugar Free's going to shut them down.
Yeah, Sugar Free getting a nice shutdown here, but you are going to start to see some compositional swaps happen as well. You know, you saw Fitz go over to the Sombra very early on, recognizing that maybe it wasn't going to end up being a right pick here to play the Sojourn. And the Sombra also is able to take advantage of the fact that Crimzos and Faith are going to be on more stable heroes there with the Zenyatta and the Ana. But it's a full dive switch up here as Excelsior come back out of their spawn doors.
I like the combination between Crimzo helping out Sugar Free with the falls on these Discord orbs. They hack onto Punk now. Fitz having to be careful as Aspire unleashes the overclock. Trying to get an angle as Creative gets taken out first, but Lep is about to have the sound barrier here, and he's gonna have to hold on. Oh, he actually used it. He actually used it. They lost out on Kellen and Psycho, and then Creative was the first one to go down there, so that was only onto himself and Fitz. Not what they wanted here.
No, it was not what they wanted. Are we gonna see a swap up here from Lep? No, that was such a waste of the sound barrier. Oh, you hate to see that. I think what Lep was hoping for there is that there would have been a little bit more time for him to be able to get the sound barrier up before the rest of the team went down. Like, I think he hit Q before you ended up seeing those eliminations come through onto the rest of the team. So really unfortunate there, but Fitz is able to land the CMP and very, very big.
Yeah, losing out on Crimson Aspire. They got the revenge that they needed here, but they've already gotten a good amount of progress with this bot, already nearing that 60-meter mark here. And it's going to be a reset for the Titans, but it cost that EMP. Kellen does have that primal, but again, they just lost out on that sound barrier, which could be detrimental since Faith is going to have that nano boost.
I think you're okay with that right now. I mean, Lep used it, so he's going to be able to get that back online. He's been playing a pretty aggressive Lucio game. Look how far up he is with Kellen. And so you're able to at least get that damage down to really help to get that sound barrier back up. But yeah, wow. I mean, if you're able to get up close and personal like that, of course Lep takes those eliminations.
Amazing dive call up right there from Kellen to isolate the back line here. Spire's gonna go down, and so is Punk and Sugar Free. It's gonna be another reset for the Titans, and Excelsior are starting to shift more of that confidence in their favor because it's the momentum that they gotta build up after getting boomed the last map.
I think you gotta see Fitz start to put some focus down onto Punk and also Crimzo. Crimzo's actually gonna switch over to the Brigida. Be getting a little bit too hard focus there from the Sombra.
Oh, Aspire getting the nano boost with the charge shots. Finding Creative as Kellen takes a nap. Creative had used the rush earlier on, but they lose out on the backline of the Excelsior. Kellen's trying to run away, manages to do so successfully. Just wait out on the rest of the backline here if they can, and Fitz just tries to harass Punk for a brief amount of time before stalling out. He thinks he can get away, and he cannot. The Meteor Strike, specifically to call out Fitz to prevent him from actually getting more profit out of that, but he's gonna have the EMP for that next fight.
Oh my gosh, all the while that the fighting was happening outside of the point, Punk pushed this bot so far forward. They got the checkpoint. Just like that, they got the checkpoint. It's unlocked, it's activated. Titans are gonna keep moving forward with this one to the angle.
Got 4 minutes here for the Excelsior to get this EMP to work. Aspire used the overclock and he stays alive after using the EMP. No follow-up opportunity because he gets the 3K and he shuts down the Excelsior. It's a tug of war fight here for the Titans as they're going to be able to get even more progress on this bot nearing 75 meters.
Gosh, Punk as well, just kind of looking for that little squishies in the back line here. Psycho, what you doing here, buddy? That's not good. Ooh.
All right, he's got help from Lep. Lep got into the fray just immediately right afterwards. And he's about to have the sound barrier next.
Yeah, you gotta get that back online, I think, especially when you're looking at some of these more higher value ultimates from the Titans as well. But Crimson going down here is huge.
Anti onto Kellen, but the sound barrier from left allows the rest of the Excelsior to take a much more aggressive position. That doesn't stop Sugar Free from still getting that pick onto Kellen, but it's the number advantage that the Excelsior are going to run away with, swapping this bot back.
Titans have such a big lead though right now. New York Excelsior want to try to get towards this first objective. Actually can't get the follow-up onto the hack from Faith, but they do have the knowledge right now that Faith does not have the nano quite yet. New York Excelsior don't have a whole lot here to be able to try to keep pushing this bot forward. We're going to see a fight happen here in the neutral, and Faith has the nano.
Nano Boost activated as Crimso's gonna also call out the rally. Nano Boost Crimso as he's gonna hold forward, enable Punk to get into position here as Aspire in the backline has found left. Excelsior has ultimates to work with here though. The pulse bomb sent out from Cycle doesn't find anybody, and Creative is incredibly low. He manages to restabilize, but with Kelling gone and Lep making his way back to the fight, it's gonna have to be the Titans now taking another team fight.
Titans got that done with the rally and the nano. Punk did end up using the meteor strike as well, but these are ultimates that are pretty expendable here. Punk is really just using that ultimate to try to get back into the fight as quickly as possible and to allow to play a bit more of an aggressive game. But New York Excelsior now, they gotta get back into this one. They had the EMP, but hopefully they don't use it here. They don't need it right now.
No, they just used up the rush, and it's perfect because you can see how quickly the Excelsior is able to move into position with that speed boost here, and they're going to be able to now clean up the rest of the Titans. Again, it's very back and forth, and still the progress on this bot is in favor for the Titans with less than 2 minutes.
Oh my god. I thought for a second there, I saw Crimso actually pick the Life Weaver, and I was like, no way. We're going to see more of a compositional change up here, though, from the Titans as we end up seeing a bit more of a traditional dive come out from them, but right into the loving arms of Fitz.
Knowing that they constantly have been going from that side room out of the window as a different approach, and they are able to find the EMP to delay even more time away from them to help the Excelsior get even more space, while you currently see Punk get away, jump right into safety from that other side room there. Now you got 1 minute and 20 seconds, and Excelsior managed to get that checkpoint.
Yeah, we saw something actually a little bit unconventional happen from the Vancouver Titans. Faith and Crimso actually swapped the heroes that they were playing. We got into a very awkward position where Crimso was playing the Brigitte, but you know, Faith is really good at that hero. You can actually see how Faith is able to take out Fitz right away. But you gotta start stemming the aggression here from the Excelsior. You still have a fight to be able to get back into this one. Sub 1 minute territory now, but Titans, they got one last chance here to close out the series now.
What is this positioning, the staggering too that was coming out? The backline needed all the help, and Kelly was just getting away with murder on the high ground on this building here. Finally getting away after activating the Primal. Punk is chasing after him. Crimso finds left, so no sound barrier for this fight. It's going to be big because you have less than 35 seconds on the clock, and the Titans are putting the damage on the board now.
Now they've got everybody on their comfort picks, and they have 5 ultimates to spare. They're moving this bot forward. They have the lead. Vicky, they could keep it here and shut out the New York Excelsior, as this is going to be the final fight. 15 seconds left.
Sound barrier lands onto 4, doesn't hit Fitz as he's trying to build up that EMP in the back. Aspire on the high ground, unchecked though, has activated the overclock. Left falls low and Creative has the rush. Nobody's contesting Aspire. Overtime's gonna be activated now. Aspire calls out Fitz, trying to get the hack. EMP still not online just yet. The rush used up, overtime activated here. Punk's got the primal. Aspire still gets pressed from the back, and Punk has found Fitz and left. While they're so fixated on Aspire here, no! They had to jump back, but still the bodies were in favor of the Titans. The Excelsior did not have left. They did not have Fitz. It was only up to Kellen, Psycho, and Creative, and they were so fixated on Aspire.
They C9'd. I give up. I give up. This happened yesterday.
Necro, you're cursed.
It didn't happen right this time around, but I swear.
You're cursed.
It's always push. It's always push, I tell you.
Man, and to build up into the Fitz had ult, but Fitz died in that fight. And it was unfortunate there, but Aspire was such a problem, unchecked on the high ground over to the side, that it took 2 members of the team to really check him. And because of that, they also deterred away from the checkpoint when it was set to overtime, and they were at a disadvantage in terms of meter change up. So the Vancouver Titans, they come out on top, Necro 3-1.
Listen, it's Aspire doing Aspire things in this particular matchup, and you do have to send multiple people after him, because while he was on the sidelines, he was just taking names. And Aspire, man, oh man, your player of the match here, and so well deserved on the Sojourn, just really showing up in such a big way there, and showing us why Aspire was able to help with the Titans in such a commanding position for this match.
And starting with their success that they also found onto Hollywood, why they were able to push the payload all the way to the finish line, cap it fully with literally just a minute in the bank. And from there, it was just a steady momentum climb for Aspire for constantly being the problem. In that last map alone, as you can see here, he got 19 elims, 8 deaths, was putting in so much damage, but specifically, it was the combination between Aspire and Punk to help enable also Sugar Free to finish off the backline that was done so many times. As we take a look at the hero stat card here, 14 final blows, almost 14 charge shot kills, by the way. 3 overclock kills there, but it's the survivability that I like to highlight, and that was all thanks to Crimzo and Faith, where I want to also say Crimzo, his survivability was crazy throughout the entire series, and the impact that he had as a player.
I honestly, like, the backline, you heard Kenobi and Richard on the desk talking about some of the stellar backlines that we have looking at the Atlanta Reign with Chio and Fielder. You also have the backline from the Boston Uprising, and you look at that trio. But I want to start talking about the backline of the Vancouver Titans, because Faith and Crimzo, I feel like, have been underrated coming into this season. And while Crimzo is playing the flashy flex supports, the Batiste, the Ana, you know how good he is on those individual heroes. Let's give some credit to Faith there on the Brigitte. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild, and Faith was also such a big part of why we ended up seeing the Titans fare as well as they did against the Outlaws yesterday.
Yeah, paired together with Crimzo, those two really do slap out here. And the Vancouver Titans getting their revenge match that they needed to redeem themselves after what had gone down between themselves and the Houston Outlaws just yesterday.
I see and curse the New York this time, not the Titans.
Not yo, I don't know how you do it, Necra. I don't know. You're walking C9 curse out here. We've seen it already a few times go down this week, but that's gonna be the bow to wrap up our final series of the day. We had some 3-1 matches that we were able to cover, Necra. It wasn't just 3-0 Overwatch after our first 2 series, and you always love to see that happen, especially from the teams that really wanted to put in their all for this final week before the knockouts. That's gonna be it for us, guys, and that's gonna be that final series wrapped up. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're gonna toss it over to the desk to break down the action.
Someone in TP. Someone in TP.
This is your point. Summer right. Just left. Carry one. Oh, come here. You have to touch.
Take out.
Yeah.
Welcome. Nice. Perfect.
Sitters.
What a final game that we had for today to just wrap this whole 5 weeks up. It was, a C9. Necro, we're just going to acknowledge.
It's the second. Necro, there's a problem. There's like some bad voodoo, I think, with the C9s and Necro. That's got to be fixed at some point, or else teams are going to start coming for you. This is like this is a BP level, I think. We're maybe not BP level, but this is getting close. Like this is like there's bad Pachmari, and then there's Necro like with the C9s. But it's starting to creep up there.
It's within the same sphere, absolutely. But as we're going to be taking a look at some of the plays we've got here again, we can really just talk about the match that we did have going through this, final moment. And honestly, got to give a lot of credit here to Vancouver Titans, but you also can't underrate New York with the way that they've played, especially what we saw earlier on this weekend, and being able to still carry some of that power into today.
Yeah, I think New York definitely put up a good fight, but I mean, the Necro mentioned it during the cast or during the wrap-up. I think this backline does deserve a lot of credit. I think especially Faith, who is someone who I think, if we could say, has someone who has benefited the most from the Brigitte coming into fruition, more so in this meta. I think Faith stands as one of the people who really, really has benefited, and the Vancouver Titans, I don't think would have the same success if Faith has not been popping off as much as they have been on the Brigitte with Crimzo. I think it is Faith's far and away best hero, and playing it at such a high level right now that I think that it's really helped the Vancouver Titans. But man, Rich, I mean, this was an absolute Sojourn masterclass from Aspire. I mean, unreal on this Shambali in particular, deadlifting 17 final blows out of 28 for the Vancouver Titans. Just an amazing performance from Aspire.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where we talk a little bit about before when it comes to compositions. We've seen a lot of the Somber and the Tracer and the Sojourn. Having that hit scan has been a little bit, on the fence of how viable that it can be when we see so much of this backline flank and aggression that can come through. And Sojourn is one of those few things that can really counteract it. But what we've seen here today so far and how they've competed against it, it has been foolproof from Aspire.
And we're going to be able to see the stats from Aspire soon on the Sojourn. But what I love about Aspire is kind of his story, right? If there was any, we're on the desk, obviously, Tier 2 takeover. If there was anyone, I think, who embodied the like path to pro story, it is Aspire. Remember getting signed to the Toronto Defiant a while ago on a 30-day contract, playing so well on that contract, able to get another 30-day, and then continuously performing at such a high level when it was like a question, you know, is the NA talent there? And I think Aspire, alongside Sugarfree and a lot of the players on the Vancouver Titans, showing that it's there in spades. As you can see those stats for Aspire on Sojourn this match, just unbelievable from him. And I think the Vancouver Titans really, I mean, if there was anyone that I would want to hang my hat on right now with Sojourn, I think Aspire is right up there with the best of them.
Stands true to their name, aspiring for greatness, and we've seen it here today that we do have such amazing play, and we actually do have the opportunity to speak with said individual. We have Aspire here with us to give us a few words in regards to, you know, this match that we just had. So with Aspire coming online, how are you doing, my friend, after that match? We did just see 3-1, stellar job all around for the final match that we had. You know, how has it been for you going into this last week and now being able to perform at this level and the way that you've continued to develop and your just overall play, looking into now the future of what weeks are to come?
I think from the previous matches, I think we're gonna have like a pretty good time in the knockouts or the tournament to compete with the higher teams. I think we've kind of shown that we can take maps or just compete with like the top teams like Houston or Glads, and I think going into the tournament we have a lot of work to do, but I think we can definitely compete and get that spot for Korea.
So talk to me a little bit about the Sojourn, because Sojourn, a hero that was very prevalent last year and like now kind of like has fallen out a little bit with the nerfs that they've given her, but you still looked absolutely bonkers on it, and I think that it was an incredible